approximately 8:30 a.m., the 10-day manhunt for Ameen Hurst came to an end. After an aggressive night of negotiations with family members, after missed deadlines time and time again over the past 18 hours, an enforcement action was taken. Ameen Hurst was arrested in the 6100 block of Washington Avenue by members of our fugitive task force here.
Philadelphia officials addressed the arrest of 18-year-old Ameen Hurst and the 10-day manhunt that followed his escape from a Philadelphia prison. Hurst had been incarcerated since March of 2021 for his alleged role in 4 Philadelphia murders. Nasir Grant, an inmate who's been at the facility since September 2021 on gun charges, and Hurst were able to leave their holding cells and walk through an unmanned housing unit before escaping to freedom through a hole in a perimeter fence. Investigators also were able to tie a formerly incarcerated woman to the orchestrated escape. Shienny Stalling, 21, was arrested by U.S. Marshals in the 2800 block of North 22nd Street in North Philadelphia. She is charged with criminal conspiracy, hindering apprehension, escape and use of a communication facility. She was released from the same prison as Hurst only months prior in February.
Set surveillance teams up after another missed deadline this morning for Hurst to turn himself in had come and gone. Our surveillance team observed who they believed was Hurst and 2 other family members get into a vehicle, and at that point a vehicle containment was conducted. Hurst was extracted out of the vehicle, positively identified, and taken into custody again without incident. The arrest of Hurst concludes the 10-day manhunt for Nasir Grant and Ameen Hurst, in which 2 other individuals were arrested by the Marshal Service. It should be noted that in all 4 arrests, no force was used. There was no incidents. Our task force worked tirelessly for the past 10 days, 16 hours a day. We sorted through dozens and dozens of tips and exerted hundreds of man-hours. The arrest couldn't have come without the help of the media, the public, and the tireless efforts of the investigators here at our fugitive task force, the incredible effort of Northeast detectives, and the efforts of the district attorney's office, who also supported us. His brother was taken in custody as well. Whether I don't know what the investigative process is, if he's been charged yet, but I know he was taken in for questioning.
Can you tell us at all what the significance of the 6100 block of Washington is?
To be honest, we don't know right now. We just know we had a residence of interest. We thought there was a good possibility he was going to be there, and that's why you see these individuals behind me who were all there for the arrest. They helped us execute that warrant. After the negotiations failed and 3 deadlines were missed, we weren't sure what the mind frame of the family was. We didn't want to give them the benefit of the doubt and lose a residence he was possibly in. So at that time, we decided to disperse on certain locations, and this one ended up paying out.
Jose Flores Huerta, an inmate at the Philadelphia Industrial Correction Center, is accused of being the lookout for the 2 prisoners who escaped. Huerta, who was incarcerated for his alleged involvement in a deadly brawl outside Pat's King of Steaks, now faces additional charges for his involvement in the escape. Michael Abrams, 21, was arrested Monday afternoon in Berwyn on charges related to the May 7th escape of Hurst and Grant. Authorities say he is the getaway driver.
And she was charged, Ziana Stallings, with assisting them and ordering them transportation that moved them away from the prison. As we reviewed video, we were able to identify a Jose Flores Huerta, who was an inmate inside, but he acted as a lookout, and he moved them and helped them elude guards and leave the building. As that investigation kept going, we took Mr. Grant into custody, and then we were able to develop information about a Michael Abrams, who had also assisted Hurst in leaving the area. He was taken into custody this week on Monday. Those arrests were all associated and all charged with assisting them in the escape. Today, the marshals will explain, but they were able to take Mr. Hurst into custody without incident, West Philadelphia. He was stopped with his mother and brother. We are in the process now of charging his brother. I'm not going to name him because we're not through with those charges yet. but later on you'll get information on that. And again, I just want to thank all our assistants on this.
Prisons around the country are short-staffed, as police departments are, and we're trying to encourage people to go into those professions. And we do have a personnel problem as far as numbers. But I can tell you for sure that Commissioner Blanche did not conduct 3 bed checks. Somebody conducted 3 bed checks that either can't count or could count and did something wrong.
It was unfortunate the way the situation happened, and we didn't have time to notify both, I guess, the city at large and those residents, that's near neighbors, and we don't never want that to happen again.
Going search for 2 escaped inmates. Philadelphia police tell Action News tonight that a 21-year-old woman, Ziani Stallings.
Wait. Let's rewind this story back a little bit. Back to the beginning.
Philadelphia police need help finding this person they say fired multiple shots along Williams Avenue, killing a 32-year-old man. Surveillance video from July 31st shows the suspect shooting at a black SUV, which then crashes into a parked vehicle. The person shoots a few more times directly into the vehicle, then takes off southbound on Mount Pheasant. There is a $20,000 reward for any information.
New video tonight released by Philadelphia police will hopefully lead to the person who gunned down an aspiring comedian on Christmas Eve. Police say this man fired at least 15 shots at the victim, Dyewood Scruggs, on the 1800 block of Wynwood Road last Thursday. If you know anything, you're asked to contact the police.
As the 2 go off screen, you hear a barrage of gunshots, the suspect then running away. 20-year-old Dyewood, an aspiring comedian, left for dead. Police are offering a $20,000 reward for his death.
Police say this 16-year-old is responsible for a months-long reign of gun violence which left 4 people dead, including a man who was a victim of mistaken identity. Investigators say Ameen Hurst was the gunman who shot and killed a 20-year-old man on Christmas Eve. In March, they say he was responsible for killing 2 people in a quadruple shooting. Investigators say Hurst shot and killed Rodney Hargrove just after Hargrove was released from jail.
Deadly shooting outside the Kieran Fromhold Correctional Facility, a tragic case of mistaken identity. Rodney Hargrove was killed on the prison property about an hour after he was released. Ameen Hurst has been charged with that murder. He's also charged with 3 other murders.
Sunday, May 7, 2023, 8:30 p.m. Hurst and Grant escape.
A manhunt is underway tonight to locate 18-year-old Ameen Hurst, charged with 4 Philadelphia murders according to police, and Nasir Grant. Officials say they escaped from the Philadelphia Industrial Correctional Center Sunday night around 8:30 through a hole in a fence.
We have protocols in place, and those protocols were not followed.
Police say Grant was admitted in September of 2022 on drug charges, among others, and they believe he's with Hurst, who was admitted to the correctional center in March of 2021 for murdering Dyewood Scruggs on Christmas Eve in 2020 on the 1800 block of Wynwood Road, and for 3 more murders in March of 2021, police say. 2 on the 1400 block of North 76th Street, 2 people were shot and killed, and 2 were wounded. And a few days later, police say Hurst shot and killed Rodney Hargrove as he waited for a SEPTA bus after posting bail at the Kieran Fromhold Correctional Facility in the middle of the night.
He's a very dangerous individual from what we know, and we are looking for the public's help.
Wednesday, May 10, 2023. Ziani Stallings arraigned for aiding and abetting the escape.
Investigators say 2 inmates escaped from Philadelphia Industrial Correctional Center through a hole in the fence. They are 18-year-old Ameen Hurst, still on the run, and 24-year-old Nasir Grant. Police arrested 21-year-old Ziani Stallings, who they say helped the 2 men escape. They say she set up a phone call between one of the escapees and a man for arrangements for them to be picked up near a bridge behind the prison.
Wednesday, May 10, 2023. Jose Flores Huerta arrest.
Also charged, 35-year-old Jose Flores Huerta, who was already incarcerated at the same facility. Today, other hotel customers watched as the arrest of the 3rd alleged accomplice played out.
The investigation will focus on if the inmates had help from inside or outside the prison walls.
How would they get tools to go ahead and cut a hole in the fence? How did that fence go undetected? How did they escape missing counts on 3 or more occasions?
Thursday, May 11, 2023, Nasser Grant captured.
Grant arrested. Police say they saw someone leaving the house dressed head to toe and wearing a head covering. Police say it was Grant trying to hide his appearance, and he was arrested shortly after without any trouble. It came after police also arrested a 21-year-old woman linked to helping the two men escape. Authorities say the inmates were able to get out through a hole in the fence during recreation time at the jail. Now, Grant was found after U.S. Marshals set up surveillance near 28th and Dauphin in that neighborhood.
A male resembling Nasir Grant came out of a residence wearing full female Muslim garb and a head covering. I believe he was thoroughly surprised. He submitted to our commands, and it was pretty much an uneventful arrest, which is the way we like
Look
it.
at the scene of the arrest. This is the 2900 block of Dauphin Street in Strawberry Mansion. You can see a heavy police presence here. Of course, we'll bring you the very latest on this arrest, but once again, one of the two inmates who escaped over the weekend from a Philadelphia prison is in custody tonight. We'll continue to follow this breaking news story on air and online.
This is the 2800 block of Dauphin Street, where I believe there remains a police scene, a police presence out there. All of this is unfolding right now, 4 days after police say Grant and 18-year-old Ameen Hurst escaped from Philadelphia Industrial Correctional Center. Hurst, who is charged in connection with 4 murders, remains on the run tonight.
Monday, May 15, 2023, Michael Abrams, 21, was arrested.
Well, Jason and Sheba, U.S. Marshals hope that they are closing in on this final escapee. And with today's arrest of yet another alleged accomplice, they have a warning to anyone aiding him. Pictures of a third suspect U.S. Marshals arrested today, who investigators say helped 2 prisoners escape from a Philadelphia jail last week. Police say he's 21-year-old Michael Abrams. We were the only camera at the Fairfield Inn and Suites in Berwyn, Chester County, when U.S. Marshals with long guns and tactical gear surrounded it. Law enforcement sources tell us that is where they arrested Abrams.
We executed the warrant here at this hotel. It took us a little bit longer to find him than usual, but after a thorough search, he was taken into custody.
New details in the investigation involving 2 escaped prisoners. 21-year-old Michael Abrams, now the 3rd person charged with helping those prisoners escape 9 days ago.
The goal here now is to make sure that these 2 individuals are apprehended promptly and brought back into custody.
Clearly, the system's screwed up, and people didn't do what they're supposed to do. It's clear. But we want to find out exactly who, exactly how often, and what we got to do to shore it back up again.
Last week, the Correctional Officers Union voted no confidence in Prison Commissioner Blanche Carney, warning about potentially dangerous conditions.
Staff levels are down. Incarcerated persons are even in danger. So we asking that the city remain safe, but we can't even be safe behind these walls.
For 3 head counts at 11 p.m. Sunday, 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. Monday morning, Grant and Hurst were marked present by guards. What's most disturbing is the allegations that 18-year-old Ameen Hurst is facing charges for 4 murders, including the shooting death of Ronnie Hargrove, who was killed on State Road the moment he was released from CFCF prison in March 2021.
He's a very dangerous individual from what we know.
24-year-old Grant was in custody on criminal conspiracy, firearms, and drug charges.
Protocols in place, and the protocols have to be followed.
But apparently, those protocols were not followed. Sources tell Fox 29 cell doors were left open along with a door to the outside recreation yard. It's believed the pair used a tool to cut through the fence to make their final escape. Housed in different cells in the same unit, officials say Hurst and Grant missed head counts on Sunday night and Monday. It also took more than 18 hours for the incident to be reported.
Not every prison is built to be a super maximum security prison, but it has to be secure. Like something like this can't happen.
Security consultant and former state police sergeant Bill Latour says the investigation will focus on if the inmates had help from inside or outside the prison walls.
How would they get tools to go ahead and cut a hole in the fence? How did that fence go undetected? How did they escape missing counts on 3 or more occasions?
The union representing correctional officers say staffing levels are to blame, claiming officers positioned in the exterior of the building were eliminated during budget cuts, a claim the Department of Prisons denies.
How many more people have to die? How many more inmates have to escape before we know enough is enough.
How are you going to rebuild trust with the community when they know that a person that committed 4 murders was able to get out through a hole in the fence?
Yeah, that's a lot of rebuilding. I mean, we have victims' families here, and my heart goes out to them. That's why we're out here, to provide as much information to get these folks back in custody.
Familiar with Stallings' background and believes she could have met the inmates while behind bars.
It's a strong possibility if they didn't know each other on the streets, they would have never even met each other if they weren't on the same exact side of the jail.
A fellow inmate charged on Friday for helping the pair is seen on video the night Hurst and Grant escaped, walking around the cell block when he wasn't permitted to be outside of his cell. Documents say the video shows Flores Huerta checking the area and the guard tower for correctional officers for several minutes. Then it shows Hurst and Grant leaving their cells and crawling to the shower area of the cell block. Documents say the men stopped, waited for a signal from Flores Huerta, and then went through a door and exited the cell block.
Thursday, May 11, 2023. Nasser Grant captured. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment below.